Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, Welcome to this AWS machine learning session today. So this is Saira Shaik. I am AI/ML evangelist. I've been working with IT for more than close to 23 years, and today we'll be discussing how machine learning is going to change the whole industry. So having said that, there are a few announcements to make, like you can ask your questions. This is total 45-minute session. You can ask your questions like last 10 minutes, we'll allocate it for sessions. After the session is over, you can participate in Q&A. So there will be goodies for you. And you can take a poll on how the session went. So we would love to hear from you. So let's continue with the session today. So if you see the screen, right, the reach of ML is growing, machine learning is growing. What that means is that earlier the machine learning was done only by some companies which are having a huge spend because the compute was very costly. So if you see, because of the cloud, the compute is becoming very cheaper, and it's in reach of everyone. So it's it's becoming from a peripheral part of the industry to the mainstream industry. Like if you see, it's almost in every industry. So just give me a second. There is some chat option. So if you see, what is the mission at AWS, right? So literally, AWS been working on this machine learning stuff for a long time, and they want to make it literally in the hands of every developers and every data scientist. So basically, the mission at AWS is to make the machine learning simpler. So earlier, if you look at the old days, only machine learning can be done by scientists like data scientists or data experts. But now if you look at the new stack or new APIs, anybody can do machine learning. So we'll discuss how that is possible. So why AWS? If you look at this, why we are saying AWS is the the expert in leading machine learning. So because the broadest and deepest set of AI and ML services, like each year AWS almost launches so many features during the end of the year in reInvent. So almost 200 plus new features and services launched in this year alone. And there are solutions for every machine learning scientist or developer. So you have a problem, there is a solution. And it supports all three major frameworks. So the frameworks are like PyTorch, MXNet. So all those frameworks are supported. And you can accelerate your adoption of machine learning with SageMaker. So SageMaker is a AWS provided service. So it will give you a single ID for the entire ML workflow, at least 50%, like 54% lower on total cost of ownership, and up to 70% cost reduction in data labeling. And you can reduce up to 90% on using Spot. And it's built on the most comprehensive cloud platform. So having said that, it's built on AWS, which is highly secure, reliable, and fully featured data store, and the strongest set of compute, storage, security, database, analytical capabilities. And there are, if you look at the TensorFlow alone, like 85% of TensorFlow algorithm runs on cloud, runs on AWS. So this is just a view for your understanding. As per the Gartner research, so AWS is recognized as a leader in cloud AI developer services. If you see that chart, right, AWS is leading the edge. So there are tens of thousands of customers using that AWS for their machine learning workloads. It's like twice as many customers using machine learning than any other cloud provider. This is just a reference. These are some prerequisites or just to set the context of how AWS and what AWS is doing. So let's get into the technology stack. So if you want to develop any application, you need the stack, right? So AWS provides the stack. It makes things easier to work, like the developers to work. So if you look at the stack of machine learning, there are three layers. And the bottom of the layer is the machine learning framework and infrastructure, where you have TensorFlow, MXNet, and PyTorch. And on the top, you have AI services, and in the middle, there are ML services. So we'll discuss about each one of this in detail. Okay. So before actually going to machine learning, right, you want to think like you want a ready-made solution or you want to make a custom solution. So there are advantages and disadvantages in both, right? So ready-made is a cloud-based API, like there are pre-trained models, so you don't need to have a machine learning skills or expertise. You can just start using those APIs and easily add intelligence to your application. So custom is like you have a data scientist and you have the data, like, you want to do your own algorithms, then you can go for SageMaker to write your own custom based machine learning algorithms. So let's look at the bottom of the layer, right? Machine learning frameworks and infrastructure. So there are TensorFlow, MXNet, and PyTorch. This is for the people who are like a data scientist and data experts who are very good at finding the models. So they can use any of this along with other third-party provided. The list is huge. So you can write your own algorithms using this. Like you don't want to use any IDs or anything, you can directly launch that. So in the previous slide, I mentioned that most of the data scientists don't prefer, at least my understanding, 9 out of 10, they prefer to work with at least two of these frameworks, and 85% of TensorFlow runs on cloud, runs on AWS. So the top layer is very interesting, right? So you don't need to know any machine learning expertise and you don't want to spend time, and you have a specific use case and you want ID, like you want an API to directly call and integrate with your application and start using them. So that's why these AI services come in picture. So let's look at this AI services one by one. So I'll be showing you a demo, after talking a brief about the service, so you will understand more and how easy it is to use. So the first service is that vision. So vision is one of the vision services Rekognition. Like if you have a photo, you can do facial analysis, comparison, celebrity recognition, and object detection. All these things are possible. And there is a video analysis, like object is moving and who is a celebrity, activity detection and all. So having said that, I'm just going to switch to I hope you guys can see my screen. Okay, let me check. So this is the object vision which I talked about, the Rekognition example. So if you see you can directly go to the console and type Rekognition, and you can see these are the objects and things detected. So if I upload a picture of me, then it will detect it's a face and a smile and a hair, it's a human face. So you can easily see what is the request going and the response coming back. Okay. And there is a facial analysis, if you see the picture, then you can see looks like a picture. Is it a female or a male? What is the date range? So for example, if I upload my picture again, then you can see the date range, not smiling, appears to be calm, not wearing glasses. And then you can compare the pictures, like you can upload one of your picture, old, I'm just uploading my old picture and recent picture. So just to give you an example, right? So then it will show you the similarities, 99.8% match. So that was a very old picture and this is the latest picture. So, and if you have a text in the image, then it will detect it's Monday, but keep smiling. So you can see it is detecting that. In the similar way, if you have a video stream, it will detect that, humans are there and what they are doing, how many celebrities are there. So just to give you a flavor of how this looks like. So that's the vision. That's a service. As I said, that's a machine learning image recognition service. So coming back to our like the PPT. Just give me a minute. So this is what we talked about, the recognition. Okay, so that's the vision service. So you saw how easy it is, through the console, and using APIs also you can do the same. And then there is a speech service, Polly. So Polly the parrot, you can easily remember that. So if you have a text, it will talk. Like if you give a text to it, it will talk in a human language or a human voice. There are 60 plus voice supported and in 25 languages. And you have a fine-grained access control, and you can define the vocabulary and whatnot. So that's about Poly. Like if you have some code and you want it to be spoken out to customers, then you can be using this Poly for that. So let me quickly show you a demo of Poly. So how it is easy it is. So you just need to go to console and type Poly, and it will come, and you can see how it works. Because I don't want to just type go through the PPT, so you will not be very interactive. So that's why I am showing the demo for everything. So I can select the voices. I'm just selecting Matthew Mail. So listen to speech. So you see that, and you can change the language also. So if I change the language to Hindi, see. So it's that easy, there are voices for each language. There are different voices supported, and you can change the voice, and you can even download it. So it's that simple. Okay. Yeah, let's come back to the next service. So we talked about vision, we talked about speech, then there is a transcribe. So for example, you are speaking, right? In the especially in the call centers, you will need to record the audios. If you need to record the audios, if you want to do any processing, you have to go through all the audios and understand what has been said, and somebody has to listen manually. So what if you can just convert that audio into text? So that's what transcribe does. So automatic speech recognition. So it supports both the regular and telephony audio. The file goes to S3 with timestamps and punctuations and formatting it does. And it recognizes multiple speakers, and you can have custom dictionaries. So that's a speech service transcribe. So, okay, let me show you again the demo of transcribe. So there are two ways to do transcribe, right? Like if you have a job, like if you have an audio file, you can run it as a job to transcribe all the output into a JSON format, or you can do a real-time transcription. So I'm doing a real-time transcription. So I'm just going to start here. I'm just allowing my mic. Hey, how are you doing today? So it will actually basically convert it. So because I'm just recording this, so it's not that great, but that's how it works. So transcribe accepts the speech input, and it transcribes into text format. And then we have comprehend. So comprehend is used for sentimental analysis and recognize the key phrases and the language and topics. Because so comprehend is useful when you are actually doing a natural language processing. So imagine you have large documents to go through and you want to understand the sentiments. So what if you have a transcribe to accept, like somebody is calling a call center and they are speaking, maybe they are angry or they are not happy. So you want to understand their sentiment, right? You can use transcribe to capture the text. On the text, you can run comprehend. So how that comprehend looks like, let me again show you a quick demo of comprehend. So this is a, like, let's say this is a example text, right? Like I'm just using a built-in analysis. I am not defining any custom analysis. And you can write whatever you want. And when you say analyze, it will identify the entities and the key phrases and what is the confidence. For example, Amazon.com is an entity. And what are the key phrases in this, like Seattle, and what is the language, and what is the sentiment and the syntax. So it will give you, like, is it a proper noun and all that stuff. So you can use this sentiment analysis to, actually there is no negative, for example, say I am very happy. So then it will analyze the sentiment, and there is no sentiment because I haven't defined any custom libraries. So so then it will actually analyze, and it will give you all the details so that you can take a necessary action. So that is about comprehend. And then we have translate. So it's a natural machine translation. Like if you have English text and you want to convert it to French or French to English, then you can use translate. There are 54 languages supported, and 2000, approximately 2000 plus combinations with more to come. So it will also detect the language. So translate is basically a translation. Like for example, if you have worked with Lex or Chatbot before, so let's say you are hosting an application in China or Japan, and you want that the application output to be in that specific language. So you can use translate to translate the English, like whatever your code you're saying, like error message, and also you can translate using the translate service. And then we have TextRact. So TextRact is basically a OCR kind of format, like OCR++ service to extract the text and from any document, and it will actually identify the text in that document. So basically it can be a free floating document, a column document, or a tabular format document. You need to define the format and it will scan the document. So this is very useful, right? When you have a application like job application or any online application, and you want to capture the data digitally instead of typing the data manually. So then you can use this TextRact. So that is basically text extract from any PDF file into it will give you the words or a text. And then there is one more interesting service called Kendra. So Kendra is basically a it's like enterprise search engine. So what Kendra does is that you, for example, in your company, you might be having different data sources, like you might be having SharePoint or Salesforce, or you might be using S3, or you might be having database. But when you are doing a search, you want to search across all the systems. So that is possible using Kendra. And also Kendra is not a text, like, if you type keywords, it will not just search for keywords. It's a context-based search, like within that context, whatever you're asking, it tries to find the answers. So that's the advantage of it. Like it's a machine learning algorithm, like it has a natural language search machine, and it's very simple to use API optimized. So let me again show you a example of Kendra. So actually, I created Kendra to configure to S3 data source. I have did the setup. So in S3, I copied some of the PDFs for like EC2, some of the FAQs. So, and I integrated with S3. So I'm going to show you how the search works. So this is my index. So basically when you create Kendra, you have to define the index, so that will crawl through the documents and it will create the indexes. So I already created that. I am going to search here like RDS instance, because I uploaded some of the PDFs, so you can see wherever that RDS instance is coming, like so you can see how that is working wherever that RDS data is coming. So a subnet size, for example, I'm searching for a subnet size. So then you can see what can be a size of the subnet is 28. And then there is a a thumbs up and thumbs down option. So when people select thumbs up, so next time when that means the result is accurate. So whenever somebody searches for the same search result, this result will appear in the beginning. So that's how it works. So you can see the exact answer size of a subnet, like subnet size I typed. So size of subnet, I got my answer. So that's about Kendra. So you can integrate with any application, or you can integrate with Slack. So you can have multiple integrative options. And then we have Lex, that's for chatbot. Like if you have a conversational interface for your application, like contact center. Nowadays, if you go to any website, right, there will be a chatbot. So basically there is nobody sitting there answering your questions. Basically you're typing your questions and you are getting your responses back. So that's a Lex chatbot. Like you can have a contact center bot or informational bot or application bot and enterprise productivity bots. Like you can Internet of Things bots. You can define whatever you want to, like about inquiries. You can ask any questions and it will give you an answer. So let me again quickly show you an example of Lex, which I already did the setup. So how Lex looks like. So if I go to Lex, like I'm typing something here. So there is a like if I say hello, so these are my, you can define the intents and the utterances. Like if I say any of these utterance, then the Lex chatbot will get invoked, and you can call a Lambda function, or you can return the parameters to client. So if you're calling the chatbot from a client, then you can actually handle that response here. So for example, if I say hi, so you can see what happens, like whatever the Lambda returns, right, like hello, how can I help you today? So that's like that's what is the intent is being invoked. So for example, if I say make an appointment, so you can say, can I any of this can I make an appointment? If I take this intent is being called, and okay, what time you would like to. So then basically it's accepting some of the parameters in the intent, and it's calling the Lambda. Lambda is doing the processing, and you are getting the response back. So you can integrate this Lex bot with any of the natural, like Poly, to actually speak it out to the customer. So that's about the chatbots. And then we have personalized. So this is basically based on Amazon experience. Like if you go to any Amazon website, right, like you will actually see the recommendations, like like if you have searched for something, it will say that person who bought this product also bought some other similar products. So that's basically running using personalized. So what happens is that in the back end, like it's a recommendation API. So if you are using this service, like based on all the data it is collecting, and you can select the algorithms and it will train the model. So everything happens through in the backend. You just need to make an API call, define your data source, and it will predict, like you can define like customers with this age bought this, and then show if they search for this product, and then it will show like intelligent search that they also bought this kind of stuff. Then you have forecast, like basically forecast is for real demand and revenue forecast. And so for example, based on past data, then you can predict like how much it's going to be, like in the future. So That's about the forecast. And then you have online fraud detection. So basically with the contact lens and all. So so it's like better in it's like sorry, I think it just jumped some of the screens. So so you have like a fraud detection service, like you can run the service to detect any of the frauds, like in your application code, like you can integrate this API to detect the frauds. And also you have written some code, and you can use code guru to optimize the code, like you can know, like that this is the very costly line of code, you can reduce the cost. So you can use code guru to do that. That is another service. And Amazon Connect for contact lens, like it provides a better connectivity with the contact center people when they're calling. So it will give them all the inputs they require to actually make decisions, like in different languages they're speaking. And then we are going to ML services, the middle layer. So that is actually very important layer. There are tens and thousands of customers who are using the SageMaker. And the SageMaker is actually, there are a lot of benefits of using SageMaker: reduced cost, and there is a 2x speed and performance, and one-click deployment, train once, Kubernetes support, single ID. I don't want to read out all these things, but I'll just show you quickly what it is. So when you're writing any machine learning application, right, you have to prepare the data, and you have to choose the algorithm to build, and you have to train, like you have to set up the environment, train, debug, and tune models, and manage training runs, and you have to deploy, you have to monitor, and you have to fine tune and manage. So these are the steps involved in any machine learning process. But if you use SageMaker, what happens is a web-based IDE for machine learning. So automatically build and train models. It will select based on the data. You don't need to even define what algorithm it needs to select. It will select, if you just give the data input, it will select the algorithm, and it's one-click deployment. It will automatically do the debugging and visually tracking all the experiments, and it will give you that if I run this analysis, this is my result. If I run this analysis, this is my result. And it's a one-click deployment, and you can actually predict, like you can choose which model is good, and so it's fully managed with auto scaling for 75% or less, like the cost will very less. So there are different classification models, like you can use, like you can use linear, all these algorithms you can choose. So whatever algorithms are there, machine learning algorithms are there, all are available, and you can choose any of them as per your choice. Okay. So there are also third-party algorithms available. If you want, you can use them using Marketplace. There are sellers who sell these products, like the services, and you can buy, and with one click you can use. So SageMaker Studio is a fully integrated development environment for machine learning. So you can collaborate the notebooks without having the dependencies, and you can track thousands of experiments, like which experiment was good, and you will get the full visibility, and it will automatically debug the errors and monitor the model, and maintain the high quality, and you can train and deploy the model universally on any interface. And then we have a ground truth. So basically it's used for labeling. So you can reduce the labeling cost up to 70% using this. So that's the advantage of ground truth. Like labeling is for images. So basically nowadays, if you go to any website, it will ask you to identify which in these images where you see cars and all. So basically that's labeling. So they are actually collecting the data from people for labeling. So ground truth does that automatically, and it reduces the labeling cost by 70%. So then you have a marketplace for machine learning. So you can browse and search marketplace and single click subscribing, and you can that algorithm is available in the SageMaker. So then just I'm going to skip this slide, and then you have a Neo, which is the 2 times more performance, like using any of this base frameworks you can write to run on any of the platforms. So then there is a augmented AI where you need a human intervention. You can actually integrate that human intervention in the machine learning workflow. For that, we have augmented AI. Okay, so how this augmented AI work is, if the predictions are good, then it will directly go to the customer. If the predictions are low confidence, then it will need a human intervention. So they can review and confirm. So how do you start, right? Like you can do a hands-on learning and there are training and certification. So we have a deep razor, like it's a reinforcement learning. Basically, you have a reinforcement learning is like it's without any data, like you have as it goes and it collects the data and it gets trained, and that's a very like there are deep racer leagues happening, and if you win you will win a race, like trip to Las Vegas for reinvent. Then you have deep lens for camera for developers, like for security reasons and all. And you have deep composer, like the pan you can, if you are a music fan, you can upload your tunes and then you can add jazz or whatever, like you can make it more interactive. So there are different options, like there are workshops and in-person trainings and ML solution labs, and you can get on hands-on with deep racer. All these things are available. So yeah, so that is like ML at lab. You can also search for that. So these are the options available for you to start using machine learning. So having said that, yeah, I am almost done and I'm happy to take the questions. I think there are there are two questions on the chat. I'm going to just read out to them. How can I make an object detection system that detects objects in real time and then speak the name of the object which is detected? Yes, you can use Kinesis to detect the objects and run the recognition, and it will identify the object. Just call the API, and you can use Poly to like speak whatever the object has been detected. What is the difference between Lexbot and IBM Watson chatbot? Just to be honest, I'm not aware of IBM like chatbot, but Lexbot is basically for a chatbot, like where it will accept text input or speech input. It will convert that speech input to text and it will process via Lambda and he return the response. So I'm happy, like we have 10 more minutes to left. Like if you have any questions, you can ask on the chat. So there are no questions. Okay. So I'll wait for 2 more minutes. If you have any questions, maybe you can feel free to ask. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time today. I hope you learned a little bit about machine learning, and I hope you will start to explore the options, and you will have a good time. Thank you very much. Have a good day.